I climb the hill. The climb is a bit difficult, quite steep. It would have been easier on foot, but I ride a bike. At the end, I succeed and climb all the way to the top. The ground becomes flat, and the dirt path continues. On the left side, there is a beautifully shaped stone placed on an exhibition. I sit down on a stone bench and look towards the sea. In front of me are many densely packed houses, the Gaza Strip. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming to the ceremony and for being here to listen. My name is Aviv. I am a Shin of the Jewish Agency to Long Island and a part of the Randy Woodbaum Mensky Center for Israel at the C. Jacobson's JCC. A Shin is a program that takes a year after graduating high school to volunteer in Israel and in Jewish communities around the world. I am 18 years old and got here from Israel a month ago. The name Aviv means spring, and my parents named me Aviv even though I was born in the winter, because they hoped for a spring of peace. And why, do you ask? I was born in the city of Sderot. If you look for it on a map, you could see that it's very close to the Gaza Strip, a 5-minute run from the border to Sderot. This is the distance between Hamas terrorists and my house. People who live in the Gaza envelope often say that this place is 90% heaven and 10% hell. The Western Negev region is stunning, with kind and calm people. Daisies and anemones grow everywhere. But in the remaining 10%, it's a continuous war. Rockets flying in our direction every few months. Sometimes there's a year and a half of silence, and sometimes only 2 months, and Hamas or any other terrorist group would send hundreds of rockets in our direction at unreasonable hours, making life in the envelope impossible. All of this for about a week, until they managed to reach for a ceasefire without any real impact, with the full knowledge that nothing will change and we will find ourselves in the same situation. In these moments, home and the bomb shelter are the safest place. It's dangerous and scary outside, but it was okay at home. That's how we lived, with the feeling that it was okay to stay, because we would just go into the shelter and wait 10 minutes for everything to pass. My home was the safest place. The people would say that if they attack the whole country, people will come to the Gaza envelope, because it's the safest here. There are shelters everywhere, and an Iron Dome will protect our skies. Then came the Shabbat of October 7th, 2023, at 6:45 a.m., 15 minutes after the attack began. If we go back 20 minutes, you can see me sleeping in my room. This is the last day of Sukkot vacation, and right before the end of the break from school. But I couldn't get any more sleep before going back to school, because at 6:30, I was woken up by sounds of rocket alarms. In Sderot, if you have to run to shelter as soon as you hear an alarm. So at 6:30, I ran to the shelter. In my mind, the event is normal, and after 10 minutes inside the shelter, I can come out and continue my sleep. But we continue to hear rockets flying above our heads for 15 minutes straight. And the alarm continued and renewed. We realized that something here is different. And at 6:45, we received news from the local authority that we have never received before. There are terrorists in the city. We are asked to lock the house, close the windows, turn off the lights, and be as quiet as possible. We are receiving reports that many people in our community are missing, and that people are unable to contact them or call them. And terrorists are on the streets. And who will protect us? Our home, the safest place in the world, has been broken into. Throughout the day, my family and I tried to look at the news as little as possible. Watching horrific videos about places and people we know was an experience that cannot be explained in words. I have no curiosity in contrast to what some people have about videos from October 7th. The situation is very different when you can recognize the places and people. So we avoided the news and social media as much as possible. We have a TV in the shelter, so we avoided so we watched movies. I spent most of the day sleeping. My body just took me into a dream. At about 5 p.m., the IDF finally arrived in the city and began to take control. For 11 hours, we were left without protection. We received information that the IDF was in the city, and we began to hear helicopters patrolling. The IDF remained in the city to clear it throughout the night and throughout the day after. On October 8th, we still received information to stay in our homes. The IDF still searched the city to look for terrorists. And on October 8th at 12 p.m., we independently left our safest place. The sense of home and security I had was shattered. I felt like my home and my security had been broken into. And the people in my life, in my community who were murdered in their homes, in their safest place for them. My volleyball teammate, Mayan, was murdered in her home. Jonathan, a boy in my grade, was murdered while hugging his family. This is how reality shifted. Since October 8th, I have not lived in Sderot. I started living on Kibbutz Einat, near Petach Tikva, half an hour northeast to Tel Aviv. This sudden transition raised confusion and a lot of questions in me. Will Sderot ever be my home again? Will things go back to how they once were? Does this mean we will return to the routines of war as if nothing had changed? Is it a good thing that I will not return to Sderot? All of these questions, in addition to all the pain over the people dear to me and my family, left me in a very complicated headspace. The things that helped me the most during this period were other people. My family was very supportive of each other. The situation was very scary, but it was a little better because I went through it all with them. My friends pulled me out and kept me from every pit or cliff I could have fallen into. Sorry. People who are there for you and support you, even silently, are truly the best medicine for any mental distress. And it is only thanks to them I felt ready to decide to go to school. I settled into a new routine in the new place, a different school, a different volleyball team. They didn't feel like home to me. But do you know what happened? The other house on the kibbutz started to bring me a sense of home. The feeling of home came back to me after a long day outside. Why? How is it that a place that isn't Sderot gives me such a sense of home? After a while, I understood. The feeling of home never came to me from the house, the building itself. It came from my family. Coming back after a long day and meeting my mother, saying hello to her and giving her a hug. It's laughing at a bad joke my father made. It's fighting with my siblings. The soul of my home was here, thank God. And this is my home. And don't get me wrong, Sderot is still very much my home. You can't take that away from it. But beyond the places that bring emotions to me, like the school or the playground closest to me, my home there are the people. My friends from the youth movement, the scouts, from school and from after-school activities. They all created my home in Sderot. People have returned to Sderot, to their homes. My family hasn't returned yet. During 2025, I visited Sderot a lot. A part of me continued my life and routines in Sderot, even though it is still difficult to live there. Alarms and rockets are still flying every few days, and all the things happening in Gaza can be heard and felt in Sderot. As you remember, Sderot is a 5-minute running distance, but life is returning to the city, and part of the healing is also returning. We returned because home is where the heart and people are. Home is where love is. To feel at home, just one person is enough. And there are still 48 people who have not yet returned to their home and their safest place. We need to fight and pray and remind them every day so that they will return home from hell as soon as possible. You and I are a part of the same supportive and amazing people. My story is part of the stories that so many Jews have in different places in the world and at different times. Some of them are in Israel in 2023, in Poland in the 30s, and some of them are in Long Island in 2025. We all carry the burdens, but also the moments of pride of being Jewish. My home is Sderot, but it is also in Kibbutz Einat, and in the northernmost city in Israel and the southernmost. Also in New York. My home is right here. Thank you very much for being here and listening, for your present, for your support, for being your partnership. You were my home. Thank you.
I mean, this is just incredible. If ever we need a reminder of what we do here, why we fight every day, why we educate students from across Long Island about what is really happening in this world and fighting the propaganda and going against everything that, all these lies that are out there, this is the reason. No child should have their childhood ripped away from them. No child should be this strong at 18 years old. No one should have to be this courageous.